Hello guys and welcome to my 4th episode of Block Mayhem. Now in this series we have underway a range of projects, including the stable and field area we've got here, and I've built my house and all sorts of little things that I've just added to the Block Mayhem world. However, today is a very special day, as from Mr. Super Sweet himself, oh, hello. From Mr. Super Sweet himself, I have actually been given a challenge. In his most recent video, what he created was a little dock area, just something, little extra bits to spawn. And in that video, he in fact challenged me to create a boat. So, what I have got here is all the materials I feel I'm going to need to create a boat, and in this episode, we are going to complete it. We're just wandering here, seeing my little influences on Block Mayhem. We obviously have my house there. Now this whole little wooded area, my little bridge that like kind of merges my man-made woodland that we came through into spawn, and climaxes with this giant tree that I built. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the lake and we're going to build this boat. Here we are, guys, by the lakeside. As you can see, there's Super's little dock, his little boat he created, and all the materials we are going to need to make this boat. However, looking at Super's boat, I noticed something that I haven't brought enough of, which is wool. So, what we're going to go and utilize is an incredibly good little industrial build one of the other technical players have built. I believe it was Jake, but I'm not sure. Don't hold me to that. I wouldn't like to. Don't quote me on it. So we're gonna go. I'm gonna show you this awesome sheep farm. Look at this, guys, in all of its magnificence. However, I don't know how to use it. It's incredible, and I've seen people using it. Obviously, look, they get all this stuff out of it, and like all the sheep are being horribly crammed into this huge contraption. However, I mean, I switched to lever, and I stood there, and I hit some sheep with my shears, and I'm not really sure how to get the wool out of it. So I'm going to call in some assistance, because this is not working. I'm going to turn this off, and I'm going to call in some backup. Okay guys, with a quick explanation from Josh, I figured out how to use it. Basically, it's quite simple. We just hit the sheep with these shears here. I'll put these back now because I don't need them, they're not mine. Close this door, and then down here, a hopper system has meant that all the wool is down here, ready for our use. So 129 blocks later, we're ready to build the sails. Okay guys, we're back, and I am faced with an unusual problem. I've extended a little dock to access my boat. It's in the exact same style as Super's little fishing dock over there. However, this one's a little bit longer, a little bit further out into the lake, just to access the ships. However, I want to build my boat under Super's challenge, and his boat is in the way. And he does mention in his videos he is going to remove the boat. So I'm going to take a plunge here, because he's currently away exploring the world and living his life, and he has not got time to remove this boat, nor do I have time to contact him about it. So I'm going to take the plunge, and if he is drastically upset about the destruction of his boat, I will place his stuff in a chest and rebuild it if he so requires. So here we go. Okay, it's actually time to finally get to work on my boat. I'm already noticing a problem though. As I swim out here, you'll notice how shallow the water is here. So what I'm actually going to have to do off camera is perhaps underneath this boat is, you know, get rid of some of that land under the water, because my boat has a hull. I've got an idea already in my head of what this boat will look like, and yes, it has a hull, which will mean obviously we're going to need room for that hull. So this will be something I'll have to do off camera, but for now I have to create the deck. I'm going for like quite a small boat. It's not going to be as small as like the one Super had, but it's going to be reasonably small. I didn't want something absolutely massive, because obviously it's only a small lake, and I kind of want it to be a little purposeful fishing boat, you could say. Something that kind of, you know, you could see working out on the open ocean. So we're going to have it 7 wide, I think. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, this is already too massive. So let's take this off this end and this off this end, and then we have got our 7 wide boat. So I'm just going to build a deck like this. And yes, this idea is premeditated to some respects. Like, I've got a good idea in my head of what I want this boat to look like. So I'm going to build the deck quickly. I And welcome back, guys. As you can see, I've gone a little bit further because it was quite a laborious challenge building this hull. So as you can see, I've got quite a nice detailed hull using the upside down stone stairs and a bit of woods, a few fences, just quite a nice hull. Although I think it'll work incredibly well once the actual ship is finished. So the actual style I'm going to use for the railing is, I want a tall railing, something that looks quite impressive. So I'm going to use this. This is going to be my style of railing, and I feel this will work exceptionally well. Even though it's quite tall, I feel from a long distance it will look incredibly effective. So I'm going to extend this all the way around the boat. Okay, so now what we're also going to do is add a little bit of detail to the front of this boat. Currently it's a little bit flat, and obviously once the sails are in, that will obviously change. Although for now, we're just going to make a few little updates, but I feel extending this along here will look quite nice. So if we bring this down here to here, and then we can use one final, I feel, upside down stone stair to like just finish off this little area. I think I've just messed this up a little bit because now I'm going to be stuck. Right, okay, I need to make sure I'm on here, and then if we use an upside down stone stair, and then finally finish off with another one, I feel that will look quite nice. Once later on when we jump off and look at the side, I feel this will be quite a nice little design. Just pull that away from there and have just a little, viewing area at the front of the ship. So now I'm going to make a few more pieces of equipment just to make sure I've got enough for the next bit of building. So now what we're actually going to make is the cabin, and I have a predetermined idea of what this boat is going to look like. I've got a little sketch in front of me, and I've just got a whole idea of how I want it to be very compact, but at the same time equally practical, because obviously I don't want this to be an absolutely huge boat, but I want it to include absolutely everything you would need to survive, not only in Minecraft, but if this was a real boat itself. So as you can see, just using a range of ideas that I've actually used in previous builds in my, Let's Build, down into here, in my Let's Build series, and, all that kind of stuff. And as you can see as well, I've predetermined when I did the deck where things are going, so that's actually going to be, we're going to get to that soon. That's actually what we just fell into there. It's going to be the hull, where all, the cargo stood. But again, that is going to be very compact and very, very practical. A very good, grounds for basis, I feel, when building a boat. So we're just gonna have a quick, I'm gonna try out a quick time lapse here, and I'm just gonna rush along, just building up a few little areas here. So, cue the music. Here we are, guys, in my normal recording format, narrating a Let's Build. However, because this boat is such intricate detail compared to my normal Let's Build, the castles, Rivendell, the Shire, I am going to much more intricate detail here, so I'm just going to give you a run through in general and let the on-screen, actions let you interpret what is exactly happening. So as you can see, you can understand here, I'm basically building the mast, but obviously I don't want just a big tree trunk sticking out of the boat. You know what I'm like, I like to go to intricate details, so I'm building up details that might necessarily not be necessary, but increase that, overall just appeal to it. So I'm adding ladders that go up, ladders that go down into the holes. This little section here is actually a bit of a cargo hold, actually. I'm going to add in, trios of chests in there underneath this trap door. I just feel this works very nicely. It's separating the two hulls now with the mast itself. Just adding those details and making sure, despite this having its cosmetic values, I want this boat to look good, but I also want it to be compact and functional at the same time. So now we have got that functional side down and building on those cosmetic details on the outside of the main cabin. As you can see, going to lots of ranges of little detail using the, many of the normal build styles you'd expect to see from my other Let's Build. You can see them being applied here, I think, in many respects, just transformed into a wooden version, where normally I use variations of stone. Here I'm using variations of wood. And this is actually goodbye from narrating me. We're getting to the end of my little time lapse here, so I'll send you back to my old live action self. Make sure you treat him nicely, and goodbye. And there we go, guys, a little bit of time lapse there just to get along with some of the more bulky bits of the build. As you can see, it's coming on very nicely. We've got plenty. We're starting to build the mast here. We've got the cellars getting ready to go in here. Well, the hull, you could say. We've got quite a nice little thing going on up here, with the whole details of the captain's cabin. However, it's on the interior where I feel it's going to get especially good. So we're just going to make a few more trap doors. because I have an incredibly kind of unique idea really for the captain's cabin. Well, sorry, I don't know if it's unique because this could be used actually a real concept, because I feel it's actually quite a good idea. So, obviously, on a boat, you really want to minimize space, don't you? So, what we're actually going to do is we're going to go over here and we're going to grab the bed I've been using to obviously make sure it's always, mostly daytime. And we're going to place it where it's obviously going to go in the captain's cabin, because I've got like some sort of idea for kind of underbed storage, if you like. So, place this here. Then you would simply could have a torch here, but then what we're actually going to do is remove this space here and then make a lot of chests. So which bit of wood am I not going to use the most really is the kind of idea here. Okay, let's make some of the normal wood really, and let's just make as many chests as we're going to need, because we are going to need quite a few. So I think 6 should do it. So my concept here is this is going to be storage number 1, sort of like just a casual storage there. You know, we've got the little, you know, under deck storage there, which we can access through these 2 little spots here as well. And then underneath here, we can now have a secondary bit of storage for the captain. You know, we're going to need 1 more chest, I feel, because this is the captain. He's going to want his little bit of privacy in his own chest, so he's going to want a big one. So let's stick a big chest down here, one side, and stick a torch in there, just for that bit more of ambient lighting as well, I suppose. So if we can remove this, no, we can't remove that. No, let's go and fix that. One moment. Okay, just fixed that little mishap, and now I'm gonna add these in. It's kind of like little windows, really. This one I will add in with a glass pane later, which has got no sand with us, nor a furnace. So we'll get back to that one later. But I feel that's quite a nice little captain's cabin. He has his nice little overview here, where he can, you know, watch his boat sailing out to the sea. So now the big bit we really have to do is this mast. So I expect it to be incredibly tall. However, due to this being a Block Mayhem episode and not a Let's Build, I'm not going to build it in the normal way I do. I'm just going to do a quick time lapse here of the main parts being done. So here we go. And now, guys, I think we've finally finished and successfully built quite an epic fishing boat. As you can see, as I just pan around it, I've gone to quite a lot of detail, I feel, and tried to make it as good as possible, but keeping it this nice, small, limited size was incredibly important for me, because I didn't want it to be a grand ship. I wanted it to be something that's nice and compact, and you could understand being out on the open ocean without being too massive. So it's got all the necessary things you'd expect, and I feel incredibly impressed actually with the sails. I've never built a boat before. Well, I built one many years ago, but I've not built one in a very long time. I'm really pleased with this result. Actually, I need 1 more fence under that sail there. You can see where one's missing, but other than that, I am incredibly happy. And I hope you guys like the style I do with, you know, Block Mayhem episodes. I don't film them like my Let's Builds. I do them, you know, you see, with a much more time-lapsey feel, just because these episodes would be much more longer and laborious if I didn't do it that way and skip through all, like, the whole building and the sail building. So I feel I just want to represent to you guys what we're doing on Block Mayhem without, you know, a big, really long episode, because slowly this spawn is looking absolutely brilliant. I mentioned earlier Jake's and Super's contributions to the farms, but I mean the spire here, the needle, looks absolutely incredible. The portal, that's the best nether portal I think I've ever seen. We've got the huge industrial farms moving that way, and then the vast variety of houses. I just feel, despite its slow progress in some respect, Block Mayhem is definitely coming together, and it is looking absolutely incredible, and I'm glad to contribute this boat towards it. So guys, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time, whenever that may be. Goodbye. Mwah!